What if I told you that everything we've been watching over the last 8 episodes was leading to one single moment, one gunshot, one betrayal, and one death that changes the future of Dutton Ranch forever? Episode 9 doesn't waste a single second. It opens with tension already hanging over the ranch. Old rivalries haven't disappeared. Family loyalties are being tested. And enemies are moving behind the scenes with plans that nobody sees coming. Then, before anyone has time to process what's happening, a shot rings out. Rob Will falls. The screen cuts between shocked faces, confusion, and silence, leaving viewers asking the same question: who pulled the trigger? Was it revenge? Was it self-defense? Or was this part of a much larger plan that's been unfolding since episode 1? Today, we're breaking down every major scene from Dutton Ranch episode 9, examining the clues you probably missed, explaining the ending, and discussing what this means for every surviving character. If you're a fan of Dutton Ranch, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know your biggest theory in the comments. Now, let's head back to the ranch. Episode 9 begins differently from previous episodes. Instead of opening with violence, it starts quietly. The ranch looks peaceful. Workers continue their morning routines. Livestock moves through the fields. The mountains stand silently in the background. Everything appears normal. But long-time viewers immediately notice something strange. The camera lingers on characters longer than usual. The soundtrack is softer. Dialogue is shorter. These are classic signs that something terrible is about to happen. Meanwhile, Rob Will is acting more confident than ever. After surviving countless confrontations throughout the season, he believes he's finally won. He walks through the ranch with the confidence of a man who thinks nobody can touch him anymore. That confidence becomes his biggest weakness. Several conversations hint that danger is closer than he realizes. One ranch hand warns him to be careful. Another character subtly suggests that old enemies never truly disappear. Even though Rob Will laughs these warnings off, viewers know better. The tension continues building. Every scene feels like it's counting down towards something inevitable. To understand episode 9, we need to remember everything Rob Will has done throughout the season. He made enemies. A lot of enemies. Every decision he made created another person with a reason to hate him. Some wanted revenge. Others wanted justice. And a few simply wanted power. That's what makes the mystery so effective. When the shooting happens, almost everyone has a possible motive. The writers intentionally avoid pointing directly at one suspect. Instead, they leave a trail of clues for viewers to piece together. One of the biggest themes throughout the season has been consequences. Every betrayal creates another conflict. Every lie eventually comes back. Every act of violence demands a response. Episode 9 finally delivers those consequences. Not through a courtroom. Not through negotiation. But through a single bullet. As the episode progresses, relationships begin to crack. Friends become suspicious of each other. Private conversations stop whenever someone enters the room. Characters exchange nervous glances. No one seems comfortable anymore. Everyone senses that something bigger is happening. Even without direct threats, the atmosphere becomes increasingly dangerous. One particularly powerful moment shows several characters standing together in complete silence. Nobody says anything. Nobody needs to. The audience already understands that trust has disappeared. This emotional storytelling is one of episode 9's biggest strengths. Instead of relying only on action, the writers build suspense through silence. And that silence becomes louder with every passing minute. As the episode moves toward its midpoint, hidden alliances begin to emerge. Characters who previously appeared loyal suddenly become difficult to read. Small details become important. A lingering glance. A delayed response. A secret meeting. A mysterious phone call. Individually, these moments don't seem significant. Together, they suggest that someone has been planning something for a long time. The show never confirms exactly who is orchestrating events. Instead, it encourages viewers to become detectives themselves. This approach keeps the mystery alive even after the credits roll. By the time episode 9 reaches its halfway point, one thing is certain: Rob Will is in more danger than ever before. The only question remaining is whether he'll realize it before it's too late. Unfortunately, time is running out. The second half of episode 9 wastes no time raising the stakes. By now, every conversation feels loaded with hidden meaning. Every character seems to know something they aren't saying. Rob Will, however, continues acting as though he's still in control. That confidence becomes the episode's most tragic flaw. As evening approaches, several familiar faces begin gathering around different parts of the ranch. No one explains why. The editing intentionally jumps between multiple locations, making it impossible to know exactly where the real danger lies. One character quietly watches from a distance. Another disappears without explanation. Meanwhile, Rob Will receives what appears to be an ordinary message requesting a private meeting. At first, nothing seems unusual. But longtime viewers know that private meetings in Dutton Ranch rarely end peacefully. As Rob Will walks toward the agreed location, the soundtrack nearly disappears. Instead of music, viewers hear only footsteps, wind moving through the trees, and the distant sounds of ranch life. It's an unsettling calm, the kind of silence that usually comes before disaster. When Rob Will arrives, he realizes he isn't alone. A shadow emerges. The camera refuses to reveal the person's face. Only fragments are shown. A pair of boots. A gloved hand. A slow step forward. The tension becomes almost unbearable. Then comes the confrontation. Words are exchanged. Old accusations resurface. The conversation quickly escalates. Whoever stands opposite Rob Will clearly believes justice has never been served. Rob Will attempts to defend himself. He insists everything happened for a reason, but the other person isn't interested in explanations anymore. Years of anger have reached their breaking point. The argument grows louder. Both refuse to back down. Then, everything changes. Without warning, a single gunshot echoes across the ranch. The episode immediately cuts between several characters reacting to the sound. Workers stop what they're doing. Family members rush outside. Even the livestock react to the sudden noise. Back at the confrontation, Rob Will collapses. The camera never clearly shows who fired the weapon. Instead, viewers only see the immediate aftermath. Dust fills the air. The weapon falls partially out of frame. Someone quickly disappears into the darkness. It's one of the smartest directing choices of the season. Rather than giving viewers an easy answer, the episode creates an even bigger mystery. Did the hidden figure pull the trigger? Did someone else intervene? Or was there a third person watching the confrontation all along? The editing deliberately avoids certainty. Every frame invites another question. As other ranch members race toward the scene, they arrive just moments too late. Rob Will lies motionless. Shock spreads across every face. Nobody knows exactly what happened. And nobody seems eager to speak first. The silence is more powerful than any dialogue. One look tells the audience everything. Nothing at Dutton Ranch will ever be the same again. Now comes the biggest question of episode 9. Who fired the shot? The episode carefully avoids naming a culprit. Instead, it gives viewers several possibilities. The first possibility is revenge. Throughout the season, Rob Will has accumulated enemies at an alarming rate. Nearly every major conflict can be traced back to one of his decisions. Anyone carrying old resentment could have finally acted. The second possibility is self-defense. If the confrontation turned physical before the gunshot, someone may have believed they had no other choice. That would dramatically change how audiences interpret the scene. Then there's the third possibility. A carefully planned setup. What if neither person intended to shoot? What if someone else had been watching from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment? That theory would explain why the camera refuses to show the shooter directly. It would also fit the show's recurring themes of manipulation, hidden agendas, and long-term strategy. By refusing to reveal the truth immediately, the writers ensure fans will spend the entire week debating every frame of the episode. And that's exactly what a great cliffhanger is designed to do. The moments immediately following the gunshot are some of the most emotionally charged of the entire season. Nobody knows what to do. The ranch, once full of movement and routine, suddenly feels frozen in time. Several characters rush toward the scene, but their reactions couldn't be more different. Some are overwhelmed with shock. Others seem suspiciously calm. And a few avoid making eye contact altogether, as if they're already hiding something. The episode never lingers too long on any one person. Instead, it rapidly cuts between frightened expressions, whispered conversations, and unanswered questions. That editing choice keeps viewers guessing. Every reaction becomes a clue. Or perhaps, a deliberate distraction. As Rob Will lies on the ground, someone calls for help. Another character insists everyone stay back. No one wants to disturb the scene before they understand exactly what happened. For the first time all season, even the strongest personalities appear uncertain. Power shifts instantly. The man who believed he controlled everything is now completely powerless. And with that single moment, the balance of the ranch changes forever. Episode 9 is packed with subtle details that are easy to overlook on a first viewing. One of the biggest clues comes long before the shooting itself. Earlier in the episode, the camera repeatedly focuses on isolated locations around the ranch. At first, these shots seem like ordinary establishing scenes. But after the gunshot, they take on a completely different meaning. They suggest someone may have been watching events unfold long before Rob Will arrived. Another interesting detail is how several conversations are interrupted just as they become important. Instead of giving viewers complete information, the episode cuts away at crucial moments. That isn't accidental. It's the writer's way of planting seeds for future revelations. Then there's the mysterious absence of certain characters during key scenes. Where were they when the confrontation began? Why do they appear only after the gunshot? Those timing differences could become vital in episode 10. Even the soundtrack deserves attention. Notice how the music almost disappears during the confrontation. Without dramatic orchestration, every footstep, breath, and pause feels more intense. The silence forces viewers to focus on the smallest details. And in a mystery like this, the smallest details often matter the most. Whether Rob Will survives or not, episode 9 guarantees that nothing at Dutton Ranch will return to normal. If he survives, the search for the shooter becomes the central conflict. Trust will disappear. Every friendship will be questioned. Every alliance will be tested. If he doesn't survive, the consequences become even greater. A power vacuum will emerge. Old rivalries will reignite. Characters who have remained in the background may suddenly step into leadership roles. At the same time, the investigation into the shooting could expose secrets that have been hidden since the beginning of the season. One confession may lead to another. One lie could unravel an entire network of betrayals. That's what makes this cliffhanger so effective. It's not just about who fired the shot. It's about how that single moment changes every relationship moving forward. Episode 10 now has the opportunity to answer long-standing questions while introducing entirely new conflicts. If the writers stick the landing, the finale could become one of the most talked about episodes of the series. The biggest question after episode 9 isn't simply who fired the shot. It's whether Rob Will was walking into a trap that had been carefully planned for weeks. Think back to earlier episodes. How many times did someone warn him? How many opportunities did he have to walk away? Each warning seemed insignificant at the time. But when viewed together, they create a very different picture. Someone may have been quietly manipulating events behind the scenes. Perhaps every disagreement, every argument, even every apparent victory Rob Will celebrated, was steering him toward this exact confrontation. That's what makes great television so compelling. The biggest twists often feel surprising at first but inevitable once you connect all the clues. If that's what the writers intended, episode 9 wasn't the beginning of the mystery. It was the payoff. The real mystery may have started back in episode 1. Whenever something this shocking happens, one question always matters more than any other. Who benefits? Not who was angry. Not who had the loudest argument. But who stands to gain the most? If Rob Will is permanently out of the picture, control of the ranch could shift dramatically. Long-standing rivalries may suddenly become open power struggles. Characters who once stood in the background might step into leadership roles. Others may seize the opportunity to settle old scores. Sometimes the person who profits most from a tragedy isn't the one who pulled the trigger. They're simply the one who was waiting for the dust to settle. That possibility makes episode 10 even more intriguing. The investigation may reveal that the shooting was only one piece of a much larger strategy. Now it's time to hear from you. After watching episode 9, which theory makes the most sense? Theory 1, the shooting was an act of revenge. Theory 2, it happened during a confrontation that spiraled out of control. Theory 3, a hidden mastermind orchestrated the entire event from the shadows. Or maybe you have a completely different explanation.